Imagine space so packed with junk that launching a satellite becomes like a really tricky game of dodgeball. We call this the Kessler Syndrome. First talked about by a clever NASA scientist called Donald J. Kessler back in 1978. Picture this. Low Earth orbit, the bit of space closest to us, gets so full of stuff that things start bumping into each other, creating even more bits of junk. It's like a domino effect in space, and it could make it very difficult to explore space or use satellites. So, how do we end up in this cosmic mess? Well, crashes are a big problem. When satellites or space junk smash into each other, they break into lots of smaller pieces. Old satellites can also break apart or even explode, adding to the problem. And with more and more satellites being launched, especially these massive groups of satellites called mega constellations, the risk just gets bigger and bigger. What happens if we don't sort this all out? Catastrophe. Space exploration could become incredibly dangerous, like flying through a minefield in space. Satellites that we rely on for things like communication, weather forecasts, and GPS could be damaged, causing lots of problems here on Earth. It could even become dangerous for astronauts, and much more expensive to avoid all the junk. It could even make space exploration impossible in the future. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. We can do things to help, like designing satellites so they fall back to Earth when they're finished, and even building special spacecraft to clear up the mess. Countries need to work together to make sure everyone is being careful in space. For example, in 2007, China tested a missile that created over 3,000 bits of trackable debris. And in 2009, two satellites, Iridium and Cosmos, crashed, creating another 2,000 pieces of space junk. Lots of clever people are working on solutions, developing new technology and encouraging countries to work together. To sum up, solving the Kessler Syndrome problem requires clever technology, sensible rules, and sustainable practices. It's not just about making space exploration safe, it's about protecting space for future generations. Stay curious, and let's keep exploring, but let's do it safely. Stay calculating, my friends.